Ladies and gentlemen, it is the second semi-final contest for the Southeast Zone. This is a Tertiary Business Sense Challenge 2025 version 7.0. The first semi-final contest was between the Accra Technical University and the Heritage Christian University. At the end of that contest, Accra Technical University became the first school to book their place at the zonal final. The second semi-final contest is upon us. This time between two very good schools. Yes. It is between the Wisconsin International University College and the Valley View University. For Wisconsin International University College, they joined Tertiary Business Sense Challenge in 2019. That year, they made history. They became the first private school ever to have reached the grand finale, and that record still stands. This year they are back to repeat that mark they set in 2019. They have a determined team led by a determined coach, Dr. Adai Mensah, who has been with the team since 2019. He knows the ins and outs of this competition, and therefore he's groomed his team to cause mayhem here against the Valley View University. For Valley View University, they joined TBSC last year. Last year, they made it to the semi-final for the zonal competition. This same stage. Last year, they failed to make it to the grand finale. This year, they are determined to right that wrong that occurred last year. They have shown what they are made of by defeating the Ghana Communication Technology University, an established brand in this competition. This shows that Valley View University is ready to make history this year. Ladies and gentlemen, who is going to make the history? Will it be the Valley View University or the Wisconsin International University College? Your guess is as good as mine. No idea yet. Only time will tell. They are led here by Madam Ama Oforiwa Kakari, a determined, very emotional coach who has groomed her team to cause violence this afternoon. And of course, you know my name. My name is Al Hassan Yusuf Traole, and I love academic violence. Please join me with a round of applause as I welcome the two teams on stage. What happened? All right. So we will. All right. So whilst they are here, for Wisconsin University, yeah, welcome back on stage. All right. Please introduce yourselves.
Well, my name is Israel Delade Magbemenu, a level 300 accounting student, BSc.
Okay.
My name is Kofi Nyanteshonyina, a level 300 student.
Okay. Offering which course?
Accounting.
Accounting, okay.
My name is Nino Larufo Sinclair, a 300 level accounting student.
Three strong men, all with accounting background, three strong course mates. What should we expect from you this year?
Well, we are prepared and we expect nothing but the best today.
How has the preparation been like? Tell me.
So intense.
Very intense.
We couldn't sleep because we were thinking about.
Oh, they couldn't sleep, ladies and gentlemen. Please show some love to them. Sleepless night just to give us some piece of violence. And I love it that way.
Of course.
Yeah, sleep is for the weak. Yeah, welcome once again.
Thank
I
you so
wish you
much.
the very best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
Valley View University. Last time out was good. You defeated GCTU. How does that motivate you going into this contest?
So from our previous contest, we realized our strengths and our weakness, and we've capitalized on our strengths. and improve on our weakness. So we hope to do best.
How differently have you prepared for this particular contest?
Yes, so we've capitalized on our strengths and improve on our weakness, and we are hoping to do best.
Okay. Maybe you want to introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Philip Afari Williams. I'm reading BBA Accounting Level 400.
The person of Yeboah Bright Pepra, Beard Accounting Level 300.
My name is Tufo Boatin Victoria, BBA Accounting Level 300.
You're welcome once again. So, ladies and gentlemen, the die is cast. A place at the zonal final is what is at stake. Only one of these two schools will join the Accra Technical University in the zonal final. For these two schools, none of them has ever made it to a zonal final. So whatever it takes, they will have to get there. The winner will make history by qualifying for the zonal final for the first time. I don't know who it is going to be. What I know is that this is going to be full of fireworks. With the fact that Wisconsin International University College are the host institution and they want to make an appearance at the grand finale. For Valley View University, they are buoyed by what they did the last time out by defeating GCTU. So it is going to be full of fireworks. The contest is going to be organized in 6 rounds. Round 1 is on theory to test your understanding of basic principles and concepts in business. Round 2 will involve calculations. Round 3 is our business case of the day. Round 4 will be the graphic business segment. Round 5, true or false segments. The 6th and final round will be riddles. Please, are we ready? Wisconsin. Are we ready, Valley View University? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am ready. My audience, are you ready? Please show some love and let's begin the action. So, as a welcome message, I'm going to begin with Wisconsin International University College. Ladies and gentlemen, round 1 is made up of theory questions. Each of you will attempt 5 major questions. For your major question, you have 2 attempts only, unless otherwise indicated, for 3 points. If it's a bonus, you have 1 attempt only to be answered in 5 seconds for 1 point. Please, are we okay? All right. So let's begin with Wisconsin International University College. We are going to do something on internal controls, what we call the COSO framework, Committee of Sponsoring Organizations, COSO. Let me start with you. The CEO of a public corporation regularly holds town hall meetings emphasizing ethical conduct, accountability, and adherence to company policies. Managers are held responsible for enforcing these values within their departments. Which component of the COSO framework is being demonstrated in this scenario and why? The CEO of a public corporation regularly holds town hall meetings emphasizing ethical conduct, accountability, and adherence to company policies. Managers are held responsible for enforcing these values within their departments. Which component of the COSO framework is being demonstrated in this scenario, and why do you think so? You've been bailed out. Bonus for Valley View University.
Okay, please. So the answer is control activity, because they are telling them and giving them measures as to how they will ensure the internal control works.
Unfortunately, it's not control activity. It is not control activity. I'll give the answer later. Now your major question, Valley View University. A university requires 3 levels of authorization for any procurement above 100,000 cedis, including documentation review and approval by the finance director. Which COSO framework is reflected in this process? Explain briefly. A university let's assume Valley View University, requires 3 levels of authorization for any procurement above 100,000 cedis, including documentation review and approval by the finance director. Which component of the COSO framework is being described here? Explain.
Okay, so this is the control activity. And here, they are putting in measures that will ensure that there is segregation of duty. And not just one person will be responsible for a transaction. So it's a measure, it's an activity that they are placing.
This is correct. And I believe you see the difference between this and the first one. The first one related to the environment. So that is control environment. And this second one is control activity. That is correct. Next set of questions, still beginning with Wisconsin. Let's talk about meetings and motions. A meeting. A member proposes that the association should start a mentorship program for young professionals, offering details on structure and funding. What type of motion is this, and what makes it that type? So we are talking about meetings being organized and a kind of motions that can be raised during meetings. So where a member proposes that an association, let's say the Association of Business Students, should start a mentorship program for young professionals, offering details on structure and funding. What type of motion is being described here, and what makes it that type?
Job training and development motion.
That is not correct. You have one other chance. Bonus is available to Valley View.
So please, you have the answer to be point of information.
I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that. It is not point of information. I'll give the answer later. Now your major question. During the discussion of a motion to approve a new office location, another member proposes changing the address in the motion to a more cost-effective building. What type of motion is being proposed, and what is its purpose? During discussion of a motion to approve a new office building or a new office location, another member proposes changing the address in the motion to a more cost-effective building. What type of motion is being proposed, and what is its purpose?
Okay, so this is a subsidiary motion because it is not the main objective of the meeting.
Yes. So once again, you get the difference between this and the first one. The first one was a main motion. It was a main issue that was on discussion. So that's the main motion. All right. Let's do some financial management. I'm going to Wisconsin International University College. We are looking at the 5 C's of credit. Do you know that? 5 C's of credit. So I'm going to read some scenarios to you. Your duty is to tell me which of the 5 C's is being described in the scenario. Do you get it? All right. Now, with you, Wisconsin International University College. A company has taken several loans, and its debt-to-equity ratio is currently 4:1. It is now seeking another facility. Which credit factor is under scrutiny, and what is the implication? A company has taken several loans, and its debt-to-equity ratio is currently 4:1. It is now seeking another facility. Which credit factor is under scrutiny, and what is the implication?
So the first component is the capacity. They'll be judged on their profitability ratio, how they are able to raise profits, and also they'll be judged on their creditworthiness, how trustworthy they are that they may be able to meet up with the financial.
I asked for which specific element is being described. I need
Capacity.
just one answer.
Capacity.
How will you explain that?
Because they'll be judged on their capability to meet up with the financial obligations.
I'm not
on how
taking
to.
that. You've exhausted your chances. Bonus for Valley View University.
This is credibility, ensuring because of the high leverage ratio, it shows that they are not worthy in paying their debt.
It is not credibility. I'm not taking that as well. I'll give the answer. All right, now your major question, Valley View University. A grocery chain generates 3 million cedis in annual sales, but operates on a 2% profit margin. Its debt service coverage ratio is below industry average. Which credit factor is of concern, and how might this affect approval? A grocery chain generates 3 million cedis in annual sales, but it operates on a 2% profit margin. Its debt service coverage ratio is below industry average. Which credit factor is of concern here, and how might it affect the approval of the credit facility?
Capacity.
Speak into the microphone.
Capacity. Capacity.
I'm listening.
Capacity. Because of the amount that we are having as profit is equal to the sales.
It is indeed not wrong. It is correct. It is capacity. Yours was capital. So they had issues with the capital that they have because they are currently over leveraged, meaning they have little equity cushion, and that could affect the approval of the loan because of their capacity. Next set of questions, I'm beginning with Valley View University. Valley View University. We are going to look at software development. I'll read some statements to you or scenarios. Tell me which type of software development approach is being used in the scenario. Valley View University. A logistic firm hires an IT vendor to build a tracking system. The firm provides detailed specifications upfront. The vendor completes all design, coding, and testing phases sequentially, delivering the full system at the end. What approach is being used, and what is its key limitation? A logistic firm hires an IT vendor to build a tracking system. The firm provides detailed specifications upfront. The vendor completes all design, coding, and testing phases sequentially, delivering the full system at the end. What approach is being used here, and what is the key limitation of this approach?
This is a system development life cycle. And one of the key limitations here is that there is no feedback from, there is no iterative feedback from users who will give suggestions to its improvement.
I'm not taking that. Bonus for you, Wisconsin.
Well, I think it's a system approach because
Once you're on the floor, you can go ahead. But I think they mentioned system, something like that, right? Yeah, so I'm not going to, it's the same thing. I'll give the answer later. Now, your major question, Wisconsin. A software company builds a mobile banking app in small models. After each release, real users test the features and developers adjust the next release based on their feedback. What system development approach is demonstrated here? A software company builds a mobile banking app in small models. After each release, real users test the features and developers adjust the new release based on their feedback. What system development approach is demonstrated here?
Software feedback approach.
I'm not taking that. You have one other chance. Bailed out. Bonus for Valley View University.
Prototyping.
For a bonus, I won't accept prototyping. Mostly, this one is more of agile development. Agile. Your earlier question was waterfall, the waterfall model. Now, for our last set of questions for this round. So we will do something economics, market structure. Market structure. I'll give you some scenario and you tell me the market structure that is being described. Beginning with you, Valley View University. Globex Incorporated launches a new smartphone. Its operating system competes primarily against only two major platforms, each with very large market shares. The three platform providers carefully observe each other's feature rollouts, and any significant change by one is quickly matched by the others. What market structure does this describe, and what are the hallmarks that confirm it? Globex Incorporated launches a new smartphone. Its operating system competes primarily against only two other major platforms, each with very large market shares. The three platform providers carefully observe each other's feature rollout, and any significant change by one is quickly matched by the others. What market structure is being described here, and what hallmarks or what features confirm this from the scenario?
Okay, so please, we have the answer to be oligopoly market structure because it is characterized by few sellers in the market.
It is correct. Now to you, Wisconsin International University College, the last question for the round. In a rural market, over 50 farmers sell identical bags of maize. Prices are nearly the same, and no single seller can influence the market price. Buyers freely move from one store to another with perfect knowledge of prices. What market structure is described here, and what key features from the scenario explain this? In a rural market, over 50 farmers sell identical bags of maize. Prices are nearly the same, and no single seller can influence the market price. Buyers freely move from one store to another with perfect knowledge of prices. What market structure is described here, and what features from the scenario confirms this?
So this is the monopolistic market structure where the buyers are the ones who buy all labor or output and are the ones who influence the prices. There can be a single buyer and then many sellers.
That is not correct.
Perfect competitive market.
Please, you've been bailed out. Once you've been bailed out, you cannot come in. It is when the bail is still active. That's when you can come in. A bonus to Valley View University.
So this is a perfect competition market. This is because all buyers have knowledge about the price. And there is no control over the price.
Yes, that is correct. So you ended up giving the answer to them, right? Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we come to the end of round one. Please show some love. Is that seat too hot? Valley View University. No, not Valley View. Wisconsin. It's not easy.
We'll be back.
Definitely you have to be back. Valley View, how did the first round go?
So it didn't go so much up to expectation, but
We can hardly hear you.
hello. He didn't go so much up to expectation, but we hope to do our best.
Okay, we'll see how the next rounds go. So the scores for round one, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of round one, Wisconsin International University College had no points. Valley View University had 13 points. So Valley View, you seem to be very good in the round one. Is that the case? Am I right in my... Anyway, Wisconsin are also very good in the round two because that is where we are going now. Round two calculations. You have 30 seconds to give me an answer. 2 attempts only if it's your major one. 1 attempt if it's a bonus. 5 seconds if it's a bonus question. 3 points if you get your major question correct. 1 point if it's a bonus. Each of you will attempt 5 major questions. We are beginning this round from the Valley View University. Valley View. The government of Ghana has projected the following revenues and expenditure for the next 3 fiscal years. 2024, revenue is 2,000. Expenditure is 1,800. 2025, revenue is 2,200. Expenditure is 2,300. 2026, revenue is 2,500. Expenditure is 2,400. Calculate the budget deficit or surplus for each year and the cumulative one for the 3-year period. I take it again. The government of Ghana has projected certain revenues and expenditure for a 3-year period. For 2024, the revenue is 2,000, expenditure is 1,008. 2025, revenue 2,200, expenditure 2,300. 2026, revenue is 2,500, expenditure is 2,400. Calculate the budget deficit or surplus for each year and the cumulative budget or deficits. Budget deficit or surplus for the end of 2026.
You said the answer is to be 200.
Okay, so for the answer, for 2024, there is no deficit. For 2025, there is a deficit of 100, and for 2026, there is no deficit. And the cumulative deficit is 200. And for the deficit, surplus.
One person speak.
And there was a surplus, total surplus of 200.
2 out of 3. Your major question, Wisconsin International University. The government still has these revenues and expenditure for the next 3 years. 2024 revenue is 1,200, expenditure is 1,000. 2025 revenue 1,400, expenditure 1,600. 2026 revenue is 1,800, expenditure is 1,700. Calculate the budget deficit or surplus for each year and the cumulative budget or surplus as at the end of 2026. I take it again. The government has projected certain revenues and expenditure for a 3-year period. 2024 revenue is 1,200, expenditure is 1,000. 2025 revenue is 1,400, expenditure is 1,600. 2026 revenue is 1,800, expenditure is 1,700. Calculate the budget deficit or surplus for each year and the cumulative budget deficit or surplus as at the end of the period.
So in 2024, there was a surplus of 200. 25, we have a deficit of 200. And then in 2026, we also have a surplus of 100. So the cumulative surplus is 300. Cumulative is
100.
100, yes.
That is correct. Next set of questions, still with you, Valley View University. You have to calculate the yield to maturity for a bond with a face value of 1,000 cedis, a coupon rate of 6% paid semi-annually, priced at 950 cedis, and 5 years remaining until maturity. Calculate the yield to maturity for a bond with a face value of 1,000 cedis, a coupon rate of 6% paid semi-annually, priced at 950 cedis, and 5 years remaining until maturity.
So for yield to maturity, we have after the 5 years to be,
I need the answer in.
We have the answer to be 739.02.
It is not 739.02. That is not correct. You've exhausted your chance. Bonus for Wisconsin. They also did not answer. 7.21%. 7.209% or 7.21 as rounded up. Your major question, Wisconsin. You have to calculate the yield to maturity for a bond with a face value of 1,000 cedis, coupon rate of 8% paid semi-annually, and price at 1,050 cedis with 5 years remaining until maturity. Calculate the yield to maturity for a bond with a face value of 1,000 cedis, coupon rate of 8% paid semi-annually, and a price of 1,050 cedis with 5 years remaining until maturity.
Wait. Okay. 8.1%.
It is not 8.1%. Your chance is exhausted. Bonus for Valley View.
25.6%.
It is not correct. It is 6.8. 6.804%. That is what I was looking for. Valley View, your major question once again. Country A has a GDP per capita growth rate of 3% annually. Country B has a GDP per capita growth rate of 5% annually. If country A starts off with a GDP per capita of 10,000 cedis and country B starts with 8,000 cedis, calculate their GDP per capita after 10 years. Country A has GDP per capita growth rate of 3% annually, while country B has a GDP per capita growth rate of 5% annually. If A starts with a GDP per capita of 10,000 and B starts with 8,000, calculate their GDP per capita after 10 years.
Okay, so for the first one, we have it to be 13,000. 13,439.16. And for the second year, we have it to be 7,609.
Your time is up, 2 out of 3. You got one of your figures right, the other is wrong. Now to you, Wisconsin. Country X has a GDP growth rate of 2.5% annually, while country Y has a GDP per capita growth rate of 4% annually. If X starts with a GDP per capita of 12,000 cedis and Y starts with 9,000 cedis, calculate their GDP per capita after 15 years. Country X has a GDP per capita growth rate of 2.5% annually, while Y has a GDP per capita growth rate of 4% annually. If X starts with a GDP per capita of 12,000 cedis and Y starts with 9,000 cedis, calculate their GDP per capita after 15 years.
So for country X, we have 69,518.
You have 3 seconds to give me an answer. All right. The one you even mentioned earlier is not acceptable. So bonus to Valley View University.
Okay, so for country X, we have it to be 17,379.58, and country Y 16,208.49.
Yes. Next set of questions, we are beginning with Wisconsin. Wisconsin. XYZ company has a selling price per unit of 50 cedis, variable cost per unit of 30 cedis, and fixed cost of 100,000 cedis. Actual sales are 6,000 units. Calculate the margin of safety in units and as a percentage. XYZ Company Limited has a selling price per unit of 50 cedis, variable cost per unit of 30 cedis, and fixed cost of 100,000 cedis. Actual sales are 6,000 units. Calculate the margin of safety in units and as a percentage.
So the margin of safety is 3%.
It is not correct. You have one other chance. You've been bailed out. Bonus for Valley View University.
Okay, so we have it in unit as 1,000, and in percentage, it is 16.67.
Yes. CompuGhana Limited. Are you ready? CompuGhana Limited sells a laptop at 80 cedis per unit with a variable cost of 50 cedis per unit. Fixed cost total 120,000 cedis per year. If the company sells 5,500 units, calculate the margin of safety in units as a percentage and as a percentage of actual sales. I take it again. CompuGhana Limited sells its laptops at 80 cedis per unit with a variable cost of 50 cedis per unit. Fixed cost total 120,000 cedis per year. If the company sells 5,500 units, calculate the margin of safety in units and as a percentage of actual sales.
Unit, we have 27.27. Sorry, for the unit, we have 1,500, and for the percentage, 27.27.
Yes. And now our last set of questions for the round. Last set of questions. Wisconsin. During an audit of accounts payable, the auditor uses a sample size of 80, and finds a mean error of 250 cedis with a standard deviation of 75 cedis. Estimate the total error for a population of 1,000 accounts payable items. During an audit of accounts payable, the auditor uses a sample size of 80 and finds a mean error of 250 cedis with a standard deviation of 75 cedis. Estimate the total error for a population of 1,000 accounts payable items. Even bailed out. Bonus for Valley View. They also did not attempt. I'm not going to give the answer. Now, your major question, value view. During an audit of accounts receivable, an auditor uses a sample size of 100 and finds a mean error of 300 cedis with a standard deviation of 80 cedis. Estimate the total error for a population of 1,200 accounts receivable items. During an audit of accounts receivable, the auditor uses a sample size of 100 and finds a mean error of 300 cedis with a standard deviation of 80 cedis. Estimate the total error for a population of 1,200 account receivable items.
You have the answer to be 920.
That is not correct. You have one other chance.
Okay, we have the answer to be 1,000.
It is not correct. Bonus for Wisconsin.
4.5.
No. It is, I think this should be the easiest question that we have asked this afternoon. So you just multiply the number of items by the mean error. So for instance, yours 1,200 times 300, and yours was 250 times 1,000. That's all that I needed. On that note, we come to the end of round 2. So what were you calculating? You are using standard deviation and things. Oh, it is well. We have 4 more rounds to go. Up next will be the business case of the day. Both schools will be presented with a common problem and they are supposed to work as a team and come up with a solution. They will have 10 minutes within which to do that. But before then, we want to listen to the scores for round 2 and then we progress. At the end of round 2, Wisconsin University had 3 points, Valley View University had 9 points. So round 3, business case of the day, something simple on economics. You may pick up your problem so that we go through together. Something on national accounting, national accounts. In the year 2024, the Ghana Statistical Service is compiling the national accounts of the country. You are a senior national accountant, tasked with preparing the GDP and related aggregate from the following partially compiled data of Ghana. So a number of items have been given: private consumption expenditure, gross private investment, government final consumption expenditure, export of goods and services, import of goods and services, wages and salaries, corporate profits, rent income, mixed income of the self-employed, net factor income from abroad, indirect taxes, less subsidies, depreciation, that's the consumption of fixed capital. Additionally, we are told that all values are in current prices, and the country uses both expenditure and income approaches to cross-verify GDP. Required: calculate the GDP using the expenditure approach. Calculate the GDP at market prices using the income approach. Determine the gross national income. Compute the net national product at market prices. Calculate the national income at factor cost. Explain briefly why GDP and national income figures may differ. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a business case of the day. You have 10 minutes within which to present an answer. You may start work now. And submit whatever you have. Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you very much. So we are in round 3 of the contest between Valley View University and Wisconsin International University College. A place at the zonal final is at stake. So both schools were given a common problem, something on national income accounting, and they were supposed to determine some items as the question indicated. So before we look at what they presented, let's go through the ideal solution that we were expecting. They were first supposed to compute the GDP using the expenditure approach. For GDP using the expenditure approach, it is made up of all the factors from the various economic agents: consumption by individuals, investments, government expenditure, as well as net exports. So if you state the formula, you have 1 point. If you're able to insert the figures and get a final figure of 215,000 million, you have another 1 point. That should be 2 marks. The next one is the GDP using the income approach. GDP using the income approach is computed as the wages and salaries that are paid to individual, corporate profit by businesses, rent income or mixed income that is received, as well as what the government receives, the indirect taxes, less any subsidies, plus depreciation. If you state this correct, you have 1 point. If you get the answer of 208 million, you have another 1 mark. That should be 2. For gross national income, it is computed as a GDP using the expenditure approach plus the net factor income from abroad. The net factor income from abroad was provided from the information that we have. So if you're able to insert the figures well, you have 210,000. Net national product at market prices is the same as the gross national income minus your depreciation. You quote the formula 1 point, you compute and get a final figure of 202,000, another 1 point. For net or for national income at factor cost, you just have to sum all the factor incomes, and there are 3 factor incomes provided. 180,000 is the answer that is expected. You have 1 mark there. The last part is why GDP is not equal to national income, and there are a number of reasons why this may occur. Normally, GDP will include things like indirect taxes and depreciation, which are not included in national income. GDP is also a domestic concept, while the national income will reflect income that are actually received from even persons who are outside of the country or from abroad. So this may cause some of the differences between them. Any one reason and you have 1 mark. So if you do this well, you have 10 out of 10. Let's look at what they presented, beginning with Wisconsin International University College. So for the GDP using expenditure approach, they did not provide any formula. The answer they provided is wrong as well, so that cannot be accepted. GDP at market prices using the income approach, there was no formula. The answer is also wrong. GDP at market prices using the income approach, that is also not correct. The net national income, same, it is not correct. I give them 1 mark for an attempt, but for the reasons why there's a difference between the GDP and then the national income, I give them 1 mark as well. So for the effort, they get 2 out of 10. For Valley View University, they started with the computation of the GDP using the expenditure approach. They quoted the formula and they arrived at 215,000, which is acceptable. So they have 2 points there. The income approach, they did not provide a formula. Their answer is not correct for the income approach, so they don't get any marks. For the gross national income, they get the formula wrong, but because they got it wrong earlier on, it will affect their computations. The net national product also, they did not get that one correct as well. I think that is all they did. For the effort, they get 3 out of 10. So, ladies and gentlemen, the scores for round 3. Wisconsin International University College had 2 points. Valley View University had 3 points. Please show some love. We are going into round 4, but the schools may want to effect substitutions. If you want, please do so now. You're welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Please introduce yourself, beginning with Valley View.
I'm Watson Elvis, BBA accounting level 200.
Okay. And who do we have from Wisconsin?
And then I am
Go ahead.
Okai Samo Okainja, BBS 300, Banking and Finance.
Okay, that's fine. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going into round 4. This round, we'll be asking them questions on stories that appeared in the Graphic Business newspaper. For the purpose of this contest, we are asking them questions on stories that appeared in the 20th, 27th, and I think 3rd June editions of the Graphic Business. Each school will attempt 5 major questions. For your major question, you have 2 attempts only to be answered in 10 seconds for 3 points. If it's a bonus, you have 1 attempt only to be answered in 5 seconds for 1 point. Please, are you ready? I'm going to begin this round from Wisconsin International University College. Wisconsin. According to the 2025 Customer Satisfaction and Brand Health Reports, which are the 3 topmost banks in Ghana in terms of brand loyalty? According to the 2025 Customer Satisfaction and Brand Health Reports, which are the 3 topmost banks in Ghana in terms of brand loyalty?
GCB, Cowbank, UMB Bank.
1 out of 3. Valley View. According to the same reports, which are the topmost banks in Ghana in terms of brand equity? Which are the 3 topmost banks in Ghana in terms of brand equity?
So we have the FNB, UMB, and the Stanbic Bank.
2 out of 3. Common preamble to the 2 of you, beginning still with Wisconsin. Common preamble. Now, as part of effort to champion Ghana's economic transformation through the facilitation of international trade and export development, the Ghana Export-Import Bank has signed an MOU with the Saudi Exim Bank, that is a Saudi Export and Import Bank. You have to mention any 3 aspects that are covered by the MOU. There was an MOU signed between the Ghana Exim Bank and the Saudi Exim Bank. Give me 3 components of that MOU that was signed, each of you. So I'm beginning with Wisconsin. Your chance is gone. Now your turn, Valley View.
We have, in the aspect of education, health, and then infrastructure.
Please come again. I didn't hear you.
We have education, health, and infrastructure.
I'm not going to accept that. Maybe I'll give you 1 out of 3. So infrastructure, that's in terms of project financing. I'm going to give you 1 out of 3. So there are things like to promote the export of goods and services from their respective countries, exchange of information and best practices, capacity building, extension of credit lines, project financing, funding for on-lending, issuance of transaction guarantees, etc. Now, next set of questions. Common preamble to the two of you. Please listen carefully. Transit trade contributes significantly to the country's economy, generating over $34 million annually from services associated with the handling and movement of transit cargo. This was disclosed during a sensitization workshop focused on the country's new shipping legislation and ongoing efforts to improve the efficiency of Ghana's transit corridors. So that is a preamble. Now, to you, Wisconsin International. Mention any 3 state agencies who were at the workshop. Mention any 3 state agencies who were at that workshop.
So we have Ghana Ports and Harbour, and then we had Ghana Shippers, and then we had Ghana Revenue Authority.
Ghana what?
Revenue Authority.
2 out of 3. Now to you, Valley View. Mention any 3 associations who were at the workshop aside the Ghana Shippers Authority. 3 associations who were at the workshop aside the Shippers Authority.
We have the Ghana Technical Service. We have the Ghana Harbour Authority. We also have the.
You've exhausted your chance. None of them is correct. Bonus to Wisconsin. Also, you want to go ahead?
The Ghana Standard Authority.
I mentioned associations. I'm not sure Ghana Standards Authority is an association. That is not correct. We have Ghana Private Road Transport Union, that's GPRT. We have the Joint Association of Port Transport Unions and the Chemicals Control and Management Center, that's the EPA. Next set of questions. This time we are beginning with Valley View University. Common preamble to the two of you. Common preamble. According to the CEO of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, the authority supported 245 Ghanaian exporting companies to attend 15 international trade fairs. You have to mention any 3 of these international trade fairs each. Mention any 3 of the international trade fairs at which the Ghanaian exporting companies were sponsored to attend. Valley View.
So we have the AFTA. We have the OECD.
That is not correct. I think we can move on. Your chance now, Wisconsin.
The World Trade Fair. And the EU Economic Bloc Trade Fair.
That is not correct. The audience. Okay, the audience. Is the one, eh? All right. So there were a number of fairs like Fruit Logistica in Germany, Ambiente in Germany, Vivans in Germany, NY Nowant Magic in USA, Wines in South Africa, Salon de Chocolat in France. Now, last set of questions for the round. Last set of questions for the round. You have to identify and explain briefly any 3 reasons each that have accounted for the country's dwindling fortunes in poultry production, as stated by Raymond Dente in his article on reviving Ghana's poultry industry, Call to Action. Identify and explain briefly any 3 reasons each that have accounted for the country's dwindling fortunes in poultry production, as stated by Raymond Dente in his article on reviving Ghana's poultry industry, Call to Action. Beginning with Valley View.
So we have the feed cost, which contributes to over 70% of poultry production. We have the logistic constraints or fragmented value chains, which is that there is no frequent flow in the supply chain, and also we have the lack of policies implemented to support poultry, local poultry producers.
That is correct. Wisconsin, your chance now. The microphone.
Lack of subsidies, problems of vaccination of birds, and declining rate of interest among populations.
Please mention your point again. Go straight to the point.
So vaccination. So vaccination constraints.
Vaccination.
Yes.
Okay.
And lack of government support in the form of subsidies, and declining interest in. I think that.
1 out of 3. There were specific challenges that were mentioned. Okay. So I'm giving you 1 out of 3 in respect of the lack of support or subsidies that you mentioned. So that is what I am accepting. On that note, we come to the end of round 4. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 more rounds to end the contest. A place at the zonal final is at stake. Already, we have the Accra Technical University in waiting. The next contest after this will be between the Pentecost University and the University of Ghana. At the end of round 4, the scores. The scores for round 4. At the end of round 4, Wisconsin International University College had 4 points. The Valley View University has 6 points. Round 5 is upon us. This is a true or false segment. In this round, I'm going to ask you or read some statement to you. Yours is to tell me if the statement is true or false. If you get it correct, you have 2 points. If you get it wrong, -1. You may decide not to answer, in which case the other school may take it up under the same conditions. You have 10 seconds within which to give me an answer. Are you ready, Wisconsin? Are you ready, Valley View? We are beginning this round from Valley View University. Please, no form of communication is permitted at this stage. We want there to be some quiet. Valley View. Lack of oversight and supervision of employees' activities is an example of an opportunity for fraud within an organization. Lack of oversight and supervision of employees' activities is an example of an opportunity for fraud within an organization.
True.
That is correct. Wisconsin, management override of internal controls is a common example of an opportunity for fraud in organizations. Management override of internal controls is a common example of an opportunity for fraud in organizations.
False.
No. Valley View. Valley View. A vertical long-run supply curve implies that production cannot be expanded even with more time. A vertical long-run supply curve implies that production cannot be expanded even with more time.
False.
No. Wisconsin, in perfectly competitive markets, the long-run supply curve is always horizontal, indicating perfectly elastic supply. In perfectly competitive markets, the long-run supply curve is always horizontal, indicating perfectly elastic supply.
False.
Yes. Valley View University. Physiological noise only affects the sender during the encoding process. Physiological noise only affects the sender during the encoding process.
False.
Yes. Wisconsin, psychological noise can lead a receiver to ignore or distort the message based on preconceived notions or emotional states. Psychological noise can lead a receiver to ignore or distort the message based on preconceived notions or emotional states.
True.
Yes, it is true. For the next set, I'm beginning with Wisconsin. According to the capital market line, all investors should hold a combination of the risk-free assets and the market portfolio. According to the capital market line, all investors should hold a combination of the risk-free assets and the market portfolio.
False.
It is not false. Valley View University. According to the capital market line, investors can achieve a higher expected return only by accepting higher total risk. According to the capital market line, investors can achieve a higher expected return only by accepting higher total risk.
True.
Yes. Wisconsin, our last set of questions for the round. Wisconsin. Wide area networks are limited to use within national borders due to regulatory restrictions. Wide area networks are limited to use within national borders due to regulatory restrictions.
True.
It is not true. Valley View University, the last question for the round. The latency in a wide area network is typically higher than in a local area network, that's a LAN, due to the physical distance data must travel. The latency in a wide area network is typically higher than in a local area network due to the physical distance data must travel.
True.
It is true. On that note, we come to the end of round 5. There's a tactical switch ongoing. All right. So we have one more round to go. That's the riddles. But before then, maybe let me gauge your expectations and then performance. How do you assess your own selves going to the final round?
Well, per what we are seeing right now, it seems we wanted to pull a comeback, but we can still try for it. We can still close the gap.
But have you given up already?
No, we don't give up until the bones are rotten.
Definitely, you cannot give up. The comeback is not coming yet. Let's see what the final round will go. Valley View University, how do you assess your own performance?
Oliver Twist, we want some more.
Ladies and gentlemen, the scores for round 5. At the end of round 5, Wisconsin had 1 point, Valley View had 7 points. We are going into the final round, the riddle segment. There will be 4 riddles in all. This means you have a maximum of 20 points at stake. So we can still make it. Now the riddles are open to both of you. The first school to ring their bell will be asked to give an answer in 10 seconds. If they get it wrong, they can no longer partake in that riddle. If there are further clues, I'll read them to the hearing of the remaining school. Now, depending on the clue at which you answer, you may get 5 points. That is, if you answered correctly on the first clue, 4 points if you get it correct on the second clue, 3 points on any other clue thereafter. Are we fine? Valley View? Are we fine, Wisconsin? Riddle number 1. I am a vital document for company registration and incorporation. Please, no whispering. 2. I provide a framework for its operations. I also protect the company's creditors by defining the scope of its activities. Wisconsin.
Certificate of operation.
No, it is not certificate of operation. Valley View.
Constitution.
I don't think it's constitution I wanted. What I wanted is memorandum of association. So I'm not going to accept the constitution. Because now, if you had waited, one of the clues indicates that I am the constitution of a company. So I cannot accept that. Next riddle. I'm a more recent framework for reporting performance. I was coined by business writer John Elkington in 1994. Valley View University.
Triple bottom line reporting.
4 points. They answered on the second clue, 4 points. Riddle number three. Riddle number three. I'm a psychological concept that refers to the human need to feel connected, valued, and involved in meaningful relationships with others. 2. I'm one of the three basic psychological needs in the self-determination theory developed by Deci and Ryan. 3. I am the need to belong and feel a sense of Wisconsin.
Sense of belongingness.
No. I am the need to feel and belong. I am the need to belong and feel a sense of attachment and connection with individuals, groups, or communities. Satisfying this need for me can enhance intrinsic motivation, as individuals are more likely to engage in activities when they feel connected and supported by others. I am the need to feel a sense of connection and belonging to others and to experience mutual care and concern in relationships. Who am I? Valley View University.
Relatedness.
Yes, relatedness. 3 points. They answered on the last clue, 3 points. Now the last riddle and the last question for the contest. I'm one of the bases of accounting in the public sector. I am particularly useful for small businesses, manufacturers, and retailers who need accurate financial reporting without the complexity of full accrual accounting. 3. I help to capture more realistic financial obligations than pure cash accounting, but I am also simpler than full accrual accounting. I'm, however, not suitable for entities needing detailed performance measurements. I'm a hybrid accounting method that combines elements of both cash-basis accounting and accrual-basis accounting. Who am I?
Modified cash basis accounting.
No, I want to say modified cash basis. Do you have an answer for me? Modified accrual accounting, not modified cash accounting. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we come to the end of the contest. All right. So we will take the scores for round 6 before we come back with the final results. So the round 6 scores. Wisconsin had no score. Valley View had 7 points. So before we go in for the final results, let me find out from Wisconsin. The contest has come to an end. Did you meet your own expectations?
Well, sometimes you need to be humbled so that you come back better. We thought we were PSG until we met Chelsea. So
So I believe, but what do you think caused this?
Well, for now, I can't state anything specific. I can't be certain on what cost it. So we go back to the drawing board and come back.
Certainly, you need to come back. Now to you, Valley View University. Overall, per your own expectations, how did you perform?
Sir, I think we did well, but we still have a long work to do.
What do you think didn't go well for you in this contest?
The graphic segment and the mathematical aspect, the calculation.
Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, so even before the final results, please, we beg, we will need some silence here to wrap things up. So even before we come up with the final result, they know their weaknesses and they will need to work on them. The good thing is that both schools have qualified to the national championship and they have some time to work on their challenges before they come to the national stage. On this note, the final results. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the contest, Wisconsin International University College had 10 points. Valley View University had 45 points. Now, for you, Wisconsin, I believe this is a wake-up call. Yes. Your journey at the zonal stage will unfortunately have to come to an end now. You need to prepare, come back stronger at the national championship. So I wish you well at the national stage. Congratulations to you, Valley View University. You've qualified to the grand finale of the zone. Last year you were eliminated at this stage, but this year you've gone a step beyond and you've made it to the zonal final. So you have even exceeded your performance of last year. I wish you the very best in the zonal final. Ladies and gentlemen, out of the 3 semi-final contests, 2 have been done with. The first was won by the Accra Technical University. The second by Valley View University. Those 2 schools lie in waiting at the zonal final for one of either the Pentecost University or the University of Ghana. That contest will be the next semi-final contest. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap up, we want to show appreciation to all of you who were able to make it to this contest. It's been an interesting one. It's been an engaging one. We have seen the quality that our students are made up of, and I believe they will work on any weaknesses that they may have before their next contest. To Valley View University, they've qualified to the zonal final. To Wisconsin, they have made it to the national championship, and I'll see them there. On behalf of my technical team behind there, Yvonne, Stella, David, the 2 Davids, Enes, Malik, and everyone who was part of this contest. Studio audience, those of you who joined and watched us online, thank you so much for being part of this contest. My name is Al Hassan Yusuf Traore. I love academic violence. I'll see you in the next contest between the Pentecost University and the University of Ghana. Bye-bye for now. And I love academic violence.
This This means a lot. We are super excited. They've really shown professionalism.
Improve the experience and compliance.
Yes, that is correct.
Champions who have held the trophy for more than 365 days.
You said you used to test hypothesis.
T-test.
No, please.
Radio frequency identification.
Yes. My name is Al Hassan Yusuf Traore, and I love academic violence.
This means a lot. We are super excited. They've really shown professionalism.
Improve the experience and compliance.
Yes, that is correct.
Champion.